My Virginia Museum story has had quite a few chapters, more than I'd like to admit. And that journey started close to 50 years ago when I was quite young, and my parents started taking me around to various Virginia museums and other historic sites. First of those was the Newmarket Battlefield State Historical Park. That was significant later on when I became director of that site in 2001. But as I gradually learned more about Virginia's history, discovered more of its historic sites, museums, as well as its other cultural attractions, I found myself occasionally thinking, this might be an interesting way to make a living. I was particularly impressed at Jamestown Island with a National Park Service interpreter in his customary uniform who really brought alive the experiences of the Jamestown settlers in the fetid, swampy heat of Jamestown in the summer of probably about 1972 or so. A few years later, when I came to Mary Washington College, I discovered, almost by accident really, the emerging program in historic preservation, in which I got to be among the first to go 4 years, and that really laid the foundation for what would be my subsequent career. In graduate school at the College of William and Mary, I had an opportunity to work with a variety of different offices within the foundation while doing costume interpretation and earning a master's in history with an emphasis on museum administration. All of my graduate classmates found employment in the field, and throughout the life of that program, very many of them have gone into and remained in the field. It was also an introduction for me at that time to the Virginia Association of Museums. And during a snowy, blizzardy annual conference in Stanton, Virginia, my hometown, around, I believe, about 1987, I had the opportunity to bid on a Robert E. Lee print that was offered by a place called the Manassas Museum. I had the winning bid, and the director, I should say curator of the museum at that time, a fellow named Doug Harvey, came up and told me that I had paid for that print exactly what they sold it in the museum store for. That encounter and a few others with Doug, including one that we managed to recall from being at Mary Washington at the same time a few years earlier, eventually led to my first real professional job in this field. And it's something that I cherish because not only did it bring me into the profession that I have enjoyed ever since, it also helped me form some of the great friendships that I've enjoyed working in Virginia museums. And one of those is certainly Doug Harvey, who's been a mentor and a friend, and whose recent retirement is both well earned on his part and a reminder of just how old I'm getting too. I've had a great privilege in being able to work among some of the greatest historic sites in this Commonwealth, either directly as an employee or being associated with them through map studies or accreditation visits, or simply collaborating on projects. And I think that it's one of the great treasures of our Commonwealth, our nation, and the world, the museums that comprise the Virginia Museum community. So that's my Virginia Museum story, and I hope you'll share yours.